guys, it's Melody Lane, and in this video I'm going to show you how to make this card. But not just this card, I'm going to show you how to design your own cards and show you exactly how I did this one, step by step. I even show you how to make it so it writes on the inside of the card. So keep watching.
You are watching Melody Lane. With me you're gonna have a great crafting time.
I've been asked in my Cricut Design Space group with Melody Lane, there's lots of newbies and they're asking how to slice and weld and attach and what are all of those. So I'm going to teach you that in this video, but I'm also going to show you how to make a really cool card, how to design it yourself and make exactly what you want. So today we're going to work with just shapes and maybe a little text. So we just click over here on Insert Shape and we have all these choices. I'm going to click a square and a couple circles and a score line. And we're going to start first with the square. I always move the score line off of one of these lines because it kind of disappears, hard to see. So I always put it in the middle of a line or like on top of something so I can see that. Okay, we're going to start with the square. I'm going to go over here to the edit panel and we're going to unlock this lock because we're not going to make a square, we're going to make a rectangle. We're going to make an A2 size card. An A2 size card is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. But we're going to make the base of the card and then fold it in half to be 4 1/4 and 5 1/2. We have to unlock this lock and make the width be 8.5 because 4 1/4 times 2 is 8.5 and we need it double the width. And then on the height, we're going to make it 5.5. There we have the base of our card. Now we need it to score. So I'm going to bring the score tool over here for the score line. Bring it down there. To get the score line on the card so it cuts and scores on that space right there, you need to attach it. We are not going to attach it right now. Do not attach yet, okay? But I do want to know where the center of the card is. So I'm dragging a box around it, see the blue box? I'm hitting the left mouse button, holding it down while I draw this box. Now I'm letting it go and it selects both the score line and the box. And you can tell over here in the layers panel, make sure what you are selecting are both selected. The score line and the square. See how they're blue? That means they're both selected. I just clicked off of them so they're not selected anymore. Now let's click this box. The box looks like the same it did when they're both selected. So how do I know they're not selected the score line? Because the score line's not selected over here, only the box. So these don't look any different than they did when they were both selected. That's one thing that a lot of newbies have problems with when they're trying to slice and weld. These buttons up here at the top are not showing up, but it looks like they're both selected. So let's drag a box around them both again. See, it hasn't changed, but this has changed. Make sure they're both selected. It's very important. We're not going to attach. Attaching is how you get that on there. We just don't want to do that yet because we're going to be doing a lot of slicing and welding before we attach. The reason I'm putting the score line in here now is so I know the center of the card because we're going to slice out a bunch of stuff over here. So I'm going to go to Align. They're both selected and click Center. So it just moved it off into the center so I know that is the center. And now I'm going to get another shape. Now I want this one, I'm going to change the color just to make it easier to see for you. This one I want to be 4 1/4. And see, I didn't unlock this lock, so it changed it to a square. And we're going to make this 5.5. There, so now that's the same size. And I'm going to put this right on top of here. This is just so I know where this is. And I'm going to zoom in so I can see it better. I'm trying to put that right on top of there, and I think it looks pretty good right there. Okay, I'm going to zoom back out. Okay, so now we're going to insert another square. This one I'm going to unlock right here. I'm going to put it about like that. I'm just dragging it, and I want this to be center in the middle of this. This is why I had to add this beige square. I have the beige square selected, this one. I'm going to hit the Command key and hold it down on my keyboard. Or if you have a PC, hit the Control key and hold it down. Now I'm going to click the top square. And now you can see they're both selected. And so I'm going to align center. This is how I know this square here is going to be in the center of the front of the card. While they're both selected, I'm going to go ahead and slice. Okay, what that did is I sliced this top square through this beige piece. And what I'm going to do is move this one out of the way. I'm going to keep this for later. I'm going to go ahead and hide it by clicking the eye over here. Okay, so now there's two pieces sliced out of here. Once you slice, you get two pieces. So now I want to slice this square without moving it out of the base piece. If I would have attached the score line, it would not let me do that. So we have that selected. I'm going to hit Command on my keyboard and click the base. And you can see here, I have them both selected and the slice is lit up. So I'm going to slice it. Okay. So when you slice, it kind of makes duplicates for you. I don't need any of these anymore. So I'm just going to draw a box around them and click the X. Okay, where'd my score line go? Oh, don't worry, it's there. Just move this back to the back. Anytime you slice, attach, or weld something, it brings it to the top and you can't see the things behind it. So I just clicked arrange and brought it to the back and now we see my score line. Okay, we're going to be doing a lot more slicing and welding, so we still do not want to attach that. And if it does move, it's okay if it moves now. We don't need it anymore until we're ready to finish the card. We're going to make some fun circles. Let's change the size of this. And maybe the color just for fun. I'm just going to make some different shaped circles by putting one circle on top of another circle, selecting them both, see, and slice. And we got more circles. Let's do it again. Let's move this one to the top. Slice. Make that a little smaller. Want one that's maybe completely in the center. Let's click center and slice. Let's do one, probably not that big. Select them both, center, slice. Okay, let's duplicate. Select this and duplicate. Let's duplicate some of these. Okay, now I'm just going to kind of place these over here. Let's make this one a little bit. Oh, let's do small. And you can place these anywhere you want. Let's do smaller. Can turn these around. I think that one's it's gonna be too thin. I don't want it that thin. So I'm gonna make another one. I'm gonna center it and slice. Make this one smaller. See, I made it fatter and bigger, so when I make it smaller, it's not so thin as this one. There we go. I really like these. Turn them around. I think I want to add a solid one in there also. Whoops, not quite that big. And then you could put something on this one maybe. Maybe something like that. Let's duplicate that. Don't want it the same as that one. Let's duplicate the small one. What do I want for down here? I think I need to make another one. Slice. Okay, let's duplicate this one. I'm going to add another shape and I'm going to cut this one in half. So I'm just adding a square there. Whoops, I duplicated it. I mean to slice. So now we have half circles. There we go. And you could use these also. Let's make a duplicate of this one. Bigger. Yeah. That there. Okay, now if we want to make any of these a different color, we can do that, but we need to duplicate it. I could duplicate this, and I would want to change the color and hide this. Maybe change this one, duplicate that. Okay, let's change the color. So later, after we do the card, I could put this on top of it so it's another color if I wanted to. And I think I want to make just a small circle up here. Maybe another small one down here. I like them to overlap a little bit because we're going to weld them all together as one image. Maybe duplicate this so I can save it for later. Do the purple. And we're going to hide all these. Okay, I think that's what we're going to do for right now. Now you can do this with any shapes. You can do this with squares or triangles or stars or hearts. Anything you want, you design it however you want. And just place them like this where you want them. Okay, so now we're going to weld these. And to make it easier, I'm going to move this out of the way. The score line. We don't need that right now. And I'm going to drag a box around the circles and the card. And I'm going to weld this. Once you weld, you cannot unweld. So I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to duplicate this before I weld the card base. I'm going to hide it. Okay, so now I'm going to do it again. Because if I mess up later or I want to make another card, I will already have that part done. It's hidden. I can always go back to this file and create a new one without having to do the first square over because I have that right over here and I can just unhide it and create a new one with different shapes. And then I can save as by clicking on File and click Save As, and then you can save it as a new file and delete everything else except for the new file, and you have a new card without doing all the work. Although if you're using Design Space 3, you will now be able to drag one item from one project to another project in Design Space 3. Make sure you subscribe to my channel so you will know when Design Space 3 is out and how to use it. Okay, so we're going to drag a box around it and we're going to weld. Now, isn't that cute? So now this is the front of a card. And something else you can do, let's make this... I'm going to unlock the lock, just put this is going to be behind it. So when I'm looking at the card, move to back for now, I can put that color behind it. I can also put other colors behind here. I could add different layers, add a different color circle behind that. That would be cute, just adding different colors or, you know, you can make these any size. Whoops. It moved this to the top, so it won't let me select this. So move this to the top, to the front. And adding things in here. You can totally do that. Something else you can do, say you're making this for somebody's birthday. You could add a number in here, or you could add somebody's name. You can add anything you want. I want to add text. Let's say this is for a 13-year-old for their birthday. Kind of want those numbers closer together, so I'm going to move them closer together this way. And you can change the font to whatever font you want. There. I can select that and select the background. They're both selected, and I can weld. They have the 13 in there. You could stamp something like more in the solid area if you wanted, or just leave it like this for the front of the card. Okay, now I'm going to undo this because the only way to unweld is to undo. I really love this with this number in here, but I don't know anybody who's turning 13. For now, I'm going to unweld it and take that off. So now I have it like this, and if I want to use this for a birthday card, I can use it for anybody and add that number in. Let's change the color of this card. Just do that. Okay, now let's say I want to write on the inside. First, we need to take this, move the score line to the front, We need to get this centered and attached for it to be a card. Right now, this is in our way. Let's move that out. We're going to put the score line there. We're going to drag the circle around that. Click align and center. So we know that's in the right space and they're both selected. We're going to attach it. So now that can be a finished card as it is. You see that is attached. But now I want to write on the inside of the card. I want the Cricut to write on the inside of the card. So I'm going to go to edit and I'm going to flip the card over. So this is kind of the inside of the card. If you had the number in there, it would be mirrored and backwards, but that's okay. Just know when you put your paper down, what's facing up will be the inside of the card, not the outside. So if you're using printed paper, you'd want to put printed side down if you want that on the outside of the card. So now I want to do some text and do happy birthday. I want that to be like that. Okay, and I want it centered, so I'm going to click this center over here. But I don't want it to be like this. I want it to just to write it. So I'm going to choose a font with writing style. So to do that, I'm going to click all fonts and then click has a writing style. That's what I want. But let's see if I want to change that font. All of these fonts you see here have writing styles. So what I think I want. Here it is, Quirky Script. I think I really like that one, but I want it to write like it's together. So I'm gonna move these so they're touching. There I go. They're not perfect though, but if some of them are. So let's zoom in so you can see what I mean. Let's move them just one closer. That's a little better. But I'm gonna go ahead and isolate these, or you can ungroup on the layers panel. And so I'm gonna isolate these and move the letters just a little bit so they're exactly how I want them. I'm going to hit my command key and grab all these letters here. Whoops. So I can move them all at one time to be closer. Okay, I think that's good. Let me move this out of the way. I'm going to attach these, then move this back. To get this to write on the card, because right now they're separate, you have to attach it. So in order to attach it, you have to select it, hit Command or Control, or drag a box around them with both. Select that so you can see all these letters are attached, and this is selected, and the letters are selected, and we're going to attach. Now, we move them around and they're attached. Now let's clean up our canvas. Just drag a box around all those to get rid of those. And rid of those and those. And let's just get rid of that. I don't need that. Let's hit go. So it's going to cut this out and write this right on the card. So it's going to cut, write, and score. And then it's going to cut out this piece that you put behind it for another color. You don't have to. You could just have this as the card, but you'll see some of this through this. And you could put vellum or printed paper or anything. You could make this anything to put behind it. Glitter paper, it'd be so pretty. Oh, and let me show you something else. Remember, we hid this piece. We could put, here, just to show you, let's flip this back around. This is the front of the card. So this looks backwards. We do not want to cut it this way. We want to flip it back over to cut it. Let's bring this to the front. So we're ignoring this half right now. We're only going over here. We have this piece that will cover that up perfectly if you want to put like a frame around that. And then we have the other pieces, the purple ones. Where'd they go? Unhide these. And, okay, let's bring this to the back. We can put these here. These are the ones that we saved in a different color. You could do any of the ones you wanted and save, duplicate and save beforehand, so we can kind of make it three-dimensional if we wanted to. This one would have been a pretty one to save. So isn't that fun? But then just remember, before you cut it, make sure this is flipped around. I was just showing it to you that way just so you can see it easier for the video. I want to see what you guys create from watching this video. Please post projects that you make in my Facebook group, Cricut Design Space with Melody Lane. I'll put a link to the Facebook group in the video below. If you're not on Facebook, tweet it back to me at Melody Lane 815 or Instagram at Melody Lane 815. I would love for you guys to follow me at all those places and post your pictures of the cards that you created from watching this video. I love you guys. I'll see you in the next video. And here's a shout out to a few of the people who support me on Patreon. Jennifer, Janice, Bibi, Mary, Kimberly, Lynn, Lydia, Patricia, Tabitha, Tamika, Shaquia, Selena, Misty, Carla, Dawn, Cindy, Donna, Jeannie, Donna, Twyla, Nadine, Jackie, Debbie, Linda, Stacy, Audra, Claudia, Teresa, Charlotte, and Carol Prevo. Thanks, guys.
You are watching Melody Lane. With me, you're gonna have a great crafting time.